Hello everyone, welcome back to my studio vlog. There's been quite a bit going on since my last update, which was quite a while ago. I have a whole bunch of new stuff planned for my shop and for social media, so yeah, let's just get into it. So for folks new here, I'm Sam. I run a wee shop and graphic design business called Moria Paper, usually on Etsy or at your local craft show whenever we're allowed to go back to craft shows. I post sporadic updates here on YouTube because I enjoy making videos and it's something that I'd like to learn more about, so I decided to do that by doing it, I guess. So getting back on track, planning posts for social media is probably one of the hardest parts of what I do as a small business owner and as a creative, I guess. I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with social anxiety, who knows. But try as I might, I can't keep up a regular presence on the old social medias. So I've started organizing and scheduling posts, which is what I'm doing here. It's not foolproof. I still struggle and I still miss deadlines and I still don't post as regularly as I should, or as the algorithm says that I should. But it's better than nothing. The platform that I think I've had the most success with scheduling posts like this is Patreon. I'm very proud of what I've managed to achieve over there. So moving on a little from social media, one of my favourite things that I've released over the recent lockdown is a little design about cats that I encountered when we were all staying at home for so long. It's very aptly named The Cats I've Seen Outside My House During Quarantine. It's a fun little book, a silly little book with illustrations and kind of like video game style statistics or stats on each of the cats, which, by the way, I own none of these cats. They all just wander through my garden, and I have absolutely no objections to this because they are stupid and delightful, and they brighten my day. So whenever people order this little book from my Etsy store, one of the things that they get is a free postcard print in an envelope, and I really enjoy drawing more silly cats on the envelopes as a little gift to buyers. It really lets me play with line art and with trying new media sometimes, and I just have a lot of fun with it. This particular cat belongs to one of my friends, who I unfortunately haven't been able to see since this whole lockdown quarantine thing started. So I decided to specifically draw her cat for her when she ordered from my shop. It was also a really good excuse to ask for photos of cats. I miss this boy. I miss him very much. Hopefully when we're all vaccinated and things have calmed down a little bit, I can go and see him again, because I miss him very much, and his weird little bandy legs. So I've been trying for the last while to work on some repeating pattern notepads, and I've had some success using the sticker designs that I had planned for some journal stickers, and just rearranging everything and repeating the pattern. In this particular clip, I'm trying to get everything to fit together so it doesn't look too repeaty. I know that's the point of a repeating pattern, but so that it doesn't look too repetitive, too kind of samey no matter where you look. Even though I only had limited designs to work with, I didn't feel like painting any further mushrooms at that time. So then the idea is to print it out, and my home printer doesn't have the best quality ever. I'd much rather use the printers at work. But since this is just a little trial, a little test, I didn't mind using the printer at work, or at home even. So yeah, then I counted out the pages, so 10 pages, A4 just normal copy paper, 80 GSM, fold them over, line up the edges, and then plop, camera fell over. So you know, that happens. So here we are back again. This time I'm using a bone folder to flatten out the creases before I staple. This is so that the book just kind of lies flatter, a bit nicer, and that I have a more distinct area of where to put the staples in. Nothing particularly fancy about this. I folded the book initially, as you saw, before the camera fell over, and now I'm just putting a nice crease in the pages so that, first of all, it helps the book stay flat, and that it looks nicer, and it's easier to cut off the edges as well. Again, I don't have access to the equipment at work because I'm recording this on a Sunday, but if I were at work I'd be using the big electric guillotine. But here I just have my little bone folder, my little printer paper, a Stanley knife. No, not a Stanley knife. What's the generic term? Box cutter? The box cutter. Sharp knife. And a steel ruler. Always remember, if you're cutting with a box cutter, an open blade like that, always use a steel ruler. Your fingies will thank you. So here I am, I'm using a long arm stapler to put some staples in. Nothing fancy about these staples. They're just your bog standard office staples. And then I'm trimming off the edges, just along the white lines where I didn't print borderless because it wastes too much ink. And there we go, nice and clean and pretty. So I'll give you a closer look at it. Here we go. Again, not 100% happy with the print quality, but it is what it is, you know, it's only a little test. But I'm really happy with how it lays, I'm really happy with how the staples sit in, and I'm pretty happy overall. So once I had a pretty good idea of how to make notebooks like this, I moved back to the professional equipment that a local community centre was very kind to allow me to borrow. So first off, I set up a new repeating pattern with cats this time because I am who I am and I love cats. I drew these little guys on Procreate, and this is just footage of me finishing off the design and making things look polished and nice and shiny. So then after that, I take my design to print, and after that comes the tedious process of counting so many different stacks of paper. This is to make sure each notebook has the same amount of pages. So I do that for a really, really long time. There are two different versions of this notebook. One is with writing paper on 80 GSM and it's printed with lines on the inside, and the other is it's supposed to be like a sketchbook type of situation, but I suppose it could be whatever situation you want to have. It doesn't have lines. It's 100 GSM and it's nice sturdy paper for drawing on. Then comes the most nerve-wracking part, which is putting the staples in. Again, I was able to borrow this big chunky stapler from my community centre. I staple these books when they're flat, because when I fold them, I was never able to place the staple 100% accurately on the fold. And if I didn't do this right, it would make the pages inside fold weirdly, and they wouldn't be as nice to write on. They wouldn't lay flat properly. So I staple first, then fold along the line that the staples have made for me. And for now, at the minute in this process, I flatten things down with a bone folder. So when I recorded this video, I didn't have a book press at that time, so I used these big heavy stacks of paper at the center to flatten the books instead. They would stay in the squasher overnight, and in the morning they'd be ready to trim because they'd be nice and flat and all my edges would line up. I wasn't able to get any footage of the trimming process because the way the machine works is it's really hard to get a good angle on anything that's going on inside the actual machine, so I didn't get any of that, unfortunately. So that's all I have for this update. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully it won't be so long until the next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye!